Beanus.
Kiss.
Oh.
Hello, welcome to a very special Digi-Mini where today we're going to be interviewing the exciting creators of a game I'm very excited to get my hands on. It's called The Legend of Bumbo, and it's a prequel sequel to the game that chewed up thousands of hours of my life, The Binding of Isaac. James and Edmund have worked on The Legend of Bumbo, and via satellite we can speak to them now. Hello Edmund, hello James. Thank you for joining us on Digi-Mini. Now we're very excited to interview you. We're very excited about the game and the world of Isaac. So just a couple of softball questions, guys. Hope you're going to enjoy them. It's just me, by the way. Biffo didn't want to have anything to do with this because it involved doing proper games journalism. And I was like, actually, we need to do proper games journalism. Otherwise, we're going to lose all the nerd subs and the loser accounts. So we have to do that. Anyway, how did you two start working together?
I started trolling Edmund on the internet in the 2000s. I annoyed the hell out of him.
He did trailers for my different games. I think the first one that he did was the Super Meat Boy teaser trailer, which I said, make it look like one of those MTV bumpers.
And a story that will destroy your Super Meat Boy.
And then after a while, he started to tolerate me and actually kind of dig some of the stuff I did, which was mostly video stuff.
But we actually met on my BBS. Like 20 years ago.
A few years ago, he hit me with the idea of working on a game together.
My name is Edmund McMillen.
So we created Fingered, and that went well. So we decided to make another smaller game, and that became a bigger game called The Legend of Bumbo.
But what is The Legend of Bumbo? Tell us a little bit about it.
The Legend of Bumbo is a randomly generated deck building roguelike puzzle game, and it's a prequel to The Binding of Isaac. But really it's just like a bejeweled clone that's cooler with poop.
Oh, you never.
But that doesn't really explain how you play it, right?
Blimey.
A better way of explaining it is a Match 4 meets Magic the Gathering, or a board game with mobile game elements and elements of stuff like Cosmic Encounter. The nature of the game and the rules of the game change with the items that you have.
Though here's what I want to know. As a massive fan of The Binding of Isaac, how does Bumbo relate to that story?
I can't say.
Bumbo relates to The Binding of Isaac in a oblique way.
It's against the rules. It'll spoil things.
I'm sure Edmund is spoiling stuff right now. I can't hear him, and I refuse to, so I'm going to act ignorant.
Interestingly, though, what is the inspiration for the character of Bumbo?
It came from the initial ideas of doing a game where you play a homeless person trying to survive on the streets in a very fantastical way. And that slowly devolved into going into Binding of Isaac territory because there was a community reaction to one of the items in Binding of Isaac, the Bumbo item. People seemed to resonate with it, and we joked around with the idea of switching everything to Bumbo, but the more we talked about how we would do that, it seemed to align it with the Binding of Isaac universe.
So how did you get that cardboard look for the game? It's very interesting. It kind of makes it look a bit lo-fi, but graphically quite unique.
James scanned stuff. Cardboard. He scanned cardboard, old cardboard, pieces of paper, and other things. And so it's just real cardboard.
Oh!
I had to figure out a way to make all these things work. Like, get the corrugation right, get the textures and the bumps right. If you draw on cardboard, is what you're drawing with shinier than the cardboard?
Is it?
It was a lot of thinking about the minutia of cardboard and paper, and in some instances tape and thread, in order to get this like authenticity about the game.
But why a prequel and not a sequel?
Prequel is a less used word than sequel. So we thought it would be more original to do that than sequel, because I've heard a lot of sequels. People say sequel all the time. And I live in California. There's a town called Soquel.
No. Now let's talk broader. You're both in the indie scene. You've both sunk hours and hours and hours into this game, chasing bugs, fixing it, releasing it, talking to your community. But my question is, what are the best or worst elements of working within the indie gaming hemisphere?
So the best thing about being an independent developer is that I get to make my own hours, and the worst thing is I get to make my own hours.
Best things, freedom. That's it. That's the best thing.
The problem with that is I don't have time for stuff. Like, any time that I would spend playing video games, reading books, watching movies, I would always feel like, well, that's time that I could have put into The Legend of Bumbo. Definitely
death, I would say, is the worst part of being an independent developer.
Since you work from home, a lot of people have this misconstrued idea about what working from home is like, and working from home for your own business. They think I just sit around playing video games, you know, getting drunk off my ass.
How can death not be the worst part of a job?
But as we're here and we're talking about indie games, what about the indie games you rate? What games do you enjoy?
Beanus likes beans.
Sorry, James and Edmund. I've just been interrupted by our second Digi guest today.
We can't do just like a straightforward game thing because we've lost all the gamer people already.
No, I know.
And now you want to lure them back so that in the next video we're going to do some sort of weird random thing and they'll go, oh, remember when Digitiser was all about games? And then, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to balance out fun, because these boys will go, like these.
Is this in the video? Is this me getting a pep talk right now? Right. Well, joining us now in this interview, live via sitting next to me. Why? It's everyone's favourite. Shut up! Everyone's favourite internet celebrity. Why? It's Beanus. Now, Beanus, Edmund, James, they have their own questions for you. So I hope you're ready for these.
They very progressive. James and Edmund, hello. Yeah. This camera.
You do that, camera. Stay away.
This is a satellite camera for the Beanus.
Beanus, I know you have some questions for Edmund and James, so why don't you go ahead and ask your questions?
Hello, Edmund. I can't remember the voice. Hello.
Just like Northern Bus Driver, isn't it?
But when he talks normally, he's like this. Oh yeah, Edmund and James. Hello, my name's Beanus. Yeah, beans. I like beans. Does Bumbo like beans? Do you like beans? And do you like beans?
I do. I definitely enjoy beans.
A couple months ago, I became a pescatarian, and honestly, it's not really healthy to eat that much fish. So I end up making a lot of like dishes with beans, like chili. Sometimes I have it with breakfast.
Does Bumbo like beans, James and Edmund? Oh, there's a question for me, Beanus. Beanus likes asking bean questions.
I would say Bumbo does like beans. I mean, a lot of the items in the game are beans.
There's a butter bean, and I think there's a pinto bean.
Bumbo is very intimate with his anal chakra. So, in order to be that intimate with your anal chakra, I would imagine you would need to have a good source of fiber.
And a kidney bean.
I got another question for James and Edmund, Paul. I got a question, right? James and Edmund, is Bumbo your son? Please.
How do I answer this?
No, I have a daughter.
I
James and Edmund, is my mouth getting wet?
Oh, God. Probably. I'm trying not to look you in the face. Dibbles. Don't like that.
Look, Beanus has got a new thing he does. Look, it's this. James and Edmund, Beanus has got a question for you. Do you like breakfast?
I am a big fan of the conception of breakfast.
It's important, and breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
When people try to make, great meals, they often forget to balance the flavors. And breakfast, traditionally, in many cultures, has a great balance.
Every morning I eat 4 sausages.
Beanus likes breakfast. I like breakfast.
Yeah, what do you like about breakfast?
I like bacon.
Yeah.
I like the eggs.
Yeah.
I like sausages.
Yeah. Mushrooms.
Mushrooms. Oh, I like mushrooms.
Favourite part of the breakfast.
I ain't finished yet. I quite like the fried tomatoes. I like
tomatoes.
fried bread. I like black pudding. I like black pudding. It's lovely. And then what else do I like? I like beans.
Yeah, of course he likes beans.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I know.
That's my main thing is that I like beans. It's my main thing.
I know.
Oh, beans. I do though. I do
Maybe
like
ask
beans.
another question while we've got the burning internet time using the satellite link up.
I want to know, because I've got a friend, and he says, beans, baked beans, oh yeah, I like them, who says that the beans in America, the baked beans, he says are different to the ones we have here in England. Oh, is that true?
How the hell would I know? I don't know.
This is a little out of my wheelhouse because I don't think I've ever thought about if there was a difference between the baked beans in Britain and the baked beans here.
I don't know what you guys do over there, other than go to loo and hospital.
You folk have baked beans for breakfast. I got a can of Bush's baked beans and I cooked that up and would have that with toast. It wasn't awful.
I've licked the sauce off of a bean and then eat the bean afterwards.
It's like eating an apple but peeling off the skin.
Definitely yes.
So what other kind of canned beans can you buy in America? We got Belotti. Yeah, I like them. I like Belotti beans. I've got cannellini beans. Yeah, I like them. My favourite though, these the baked beans, and I like this. So I'm big bean.
We have a wide variety of beans.
You can buy all of them. All of the beans come canned.
Usually a whole aisle in the grocery store of different varieties, and it's amazing.
If you go to Taco Bell, they come in bags.
Beans. Beans.
Is Bumbo? Is Bumbo? What do you think? If Bumbo was
The legend
a
of
bean,
Beano.
Bumbo. That's Beanus' new
I like
thing.
your new haircut, by the way.
Oh
Beanus.
yeah. Well, you know why I did this?
Legal.
Well, no.
Go on.
Because the last time I appeared, I wasn't the real one. I was just pretending to be me for Halloween because there's nothing wrong with that, is there? It's like a character. It's like a character that you can't copyright characters and things like that. I'm not going to leave this bit in.
No, I think you should.
It's because, it's like, it's Buzz Lightyear, because Buzz Lightyear, like Mickey Mouse and stuff, they don't have to put a link into Disney's website, do they? No. No one knows who they are either, do they? Yeah.
No.
And the thing is,
When you
Beanus is the same as it, that's all.
Beanus is just as big as Mickey.
What I've done, I've
Yeah.
got little Beanus now on his head.
Right.
And I like beans. That's still also the main thing
That's-
that this Beanus likes. He
The
doesn't
copyright
like
catchphrases
beans.
are all good. Yeah, he likes
Beanus
beans.
likes beans. Even though it was a lot funnier when they did it on Yogscast.
Don't automate your services then. So some robot does your YouTube admin. But no, if you want to have a bunch of 15-year-olds shout at a bunch of 40-year-old men, have that happen. There you go. That's
What are you looking at?
Carry on with the questions. We're wasting internet time.
I know that Bumbo, he likes coin. We've got coin here. It's a coin for Bumbo. Yeah, you alright? Got all that? Look, it's coin for Bumbo. Bumbo like coin.
Bumbo like coin, Beanus like bean.
If you play the game as a particular character, you have access to the store and items in the store. And the items could include the pinto bean and the butter bean, or the mega bean. And in order to get those items, you trade in coin.
I should be in the next
You
Bumbo
should.
game.
Next update, put a Beanus in.
Yeah, make sure you do. You put a link to this video.
If you put the character in, make sure you put a link in so that everyone knows where it comes from. Or just for a laugh, say Yogscast invented it. See where that gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yeah.
Just fucking try it.
Next question, quick.
Do you like Beanus? No.
I mean, let's do a gut check here. Beanus is amazing. Let's be honest. Beanus is the idealized person. It is a state of mind that is wholly honest about how we are made up of our environment and our likes and our dislikes, and that we shouldn't hide them. We should be upfront about them.
What's Beanus?
Do you like that Beanus likes beans?
I love that Beanus likes beans.
I've heard of Beanus.
There are folks who feel that eating a type of bean makes you into a lesser being. That you are not going to meet your potential just because you eat a particular kind of bean.
I hope Beanus likes beans.
I love that Beanus loves beans because Beanus loving beans allows us to be honest and love beans.
I wouldn't want to have the name Beanus and not like beans.
This is the guy that came up with Binding of Isaac.
I know. We're asking one of the greatest minds behind indie gaming if he likes Beanus and all beans.
If you were going to make a game about beans, what would that game be called?
Beanbo.
Does Beanus actually consume the beans, or does the beans then become part of Beanus? Does that mean that Beanus is eternal? As long as there's beans, there's Beanus? Does that mean that beans are knowing the world, discovering things about themselves, and questioning their own existence through a composite being called Beanus?
Every morning I eat 4 sausages.
Well, that's all the questions we have time for you, James and Edmund. Thank you
Oh, no.
very much for being with us live with
What are you looking at?
Thank you for joining us live via
What are you looking
satellite
at?
to promote and talk about your game, The Legend of Bumbo.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you guys doing this for us.
I'm glad I took the time for this.
So there we go. We've managed to promote a really good game because The Legend of Bumbo is a very good game, and slam off Yogscast at the same time. Win-win. I think you'll agree.
Be there!
If you want to get a copy of Bumbo, there will be links below because we'll put the links in so you know where to go to get the thing and where it came from originally. It's very good. I played it for hours. It's great fun.
Thank you, Edmund and
Thank you,
James.
Edmund and James.
Thank you, Edmund. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Edmund.
Every morning I ate 4 sausages.